Kingston and the Islands.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my colleague from Eglinton, Lawrence, for his words. Mr. Speaker, I stand today in this House in support of Bill 40 because I know that the amazing farmers in my riding of Kingston and the Islands and the rural regions surrounding my riding will benefit from this bill. I believe that Ontario must work with agri-food producers to better manage risk through an expansion in the scope of production insurance. In helping producers deal with potentially devastating natural events beyond their control, they will be better equipped to innovate, adapt, and to grow the sector. It is hard to deny that extreme weather conditions have become part of the new norm. Ice storms, early frost, late frost, severe flooding, extended droughts, destructive winds, microbursts, and other events have caused millions of dollars in damage, and with ever-increasing frequency, it would seem. As the farmers in Kingston and the Island know, and all farmers in fact, as well as climate scientists, long-term weather effects are rarely straightforward and predictable. Warmer, longer growing seasons can be advantageous in some sectors like soy, corn, grapes, forages, and horticultural crops. Potential increases in productivity are, however, all too easily offset by unpredictable negative scenarios. For example, the trend for warmer winters is already encouraging the spread of damaging invasive species, especially insects, pests, and fungal diseases. Longer, hotter summers lower the natural immunity of livestock, while extreme weather events and flooding can increase the spread of infectious disease. In 60 years, average annual temperatures in Ontario have increased by 1.4 degrees Celsius, and by 2050, we are looking at a 2.5 to 3.7 degree increase. This will increase evaporation rates enough to cause more extended droughts in the future. While overall precipitation rates are not expected to change much, more intense rain is predicted, and we are now all too familiar with microbursts and their sometimes devastating effects. As a matter of fact, in my home in Kingston and the Islands, which we've had in the family for roughly 60 years, we had a flash flood a few years ago for the first time. Our basement in 1 hour filled up with 3 inches of rain, and while I could fully appreciate the anguish of our farmers as the heavens poured and the water rose, I did not have an entire year worth of crop to worry about. I'm pleased that the Ontario government is working towards mitigation and adaptation measures that reduce the magnitude of climate change and our vulnerability to it. The threat of invasive species is another significant consideration. They compete with native species for food and habitat that cost the Ontario economy tens of millions of dollars each year and put jobs in fisheries, forestry, agriculture, and tourism at risk. Our recently introduced legislation on invasive species will work well with Bill 40. A third risk for the agri-food sector is the highly volatile and unpredictable nature of worldwide agricultural commodity markets, usually in response to positive or negative climatic changes everywhere. In short, Bill 40 expands the scope of production insurance to help farmers cope with yield losses due to weather, pests, and disease, and it will apply to more agricultural commodities. Currently, Ontario's inability to offer insurance for commodities beyond crops and perennials puts pressure on the province to respond with ad hoc compensation when producers without production insurance experience significant loss or shortfall. We've seen these ad hoc programs cost the province millions of dollars in a single year, and they're much more costly than production insurance. Furthermore, producers can choose the type and level of coverage to meet their needs. Premiums are designed to be affordable and cost-shared between producers and the federal and provincial governments, encouraging best practices. Production insurance covers crop losses based on specific weather perils and is designed and delivered like insurance. Approval of this legislation will align the province with the rest of Canada. Alberta, Saskatchewan, Quebec, and PEI all have bee mortality plans. Manitoba is planning on introducing a pilot plan for hog and mortality insurance. Beyond our borders, most developed countries already offer subsidized production insurance. Ontario's agricultural sector is a major economic driver with huge potential. In closing, Mr. Speaker, we all know that farmers and agri-food industry are actually extremely good at adapting to change. They always have been. But I think all of us can agree that we need solid, dependable risk management programs that mitigate for factors beyond their control and expand the scope of crop insurance. We need to support farmers to do what they do best: innovate, create jobs, and feed people. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.